Hello everybody, I'm back, 2 p.m. Welcome back to the United Stand. It felt weird doing that little intro there because I haven't done it in a while. I've actually been behind the scenes producing. Ryan's been away. We've been switched positions because we're all about it. But yeah, appreciate everyone for joining me. Ten Hag's transfer panic. There's lots coming out, lots to get into, lots of news that comes out obviously in between the show slots that we like to delve into. But basically, there's some Q2 results coming out on Thursday. That's the less interesting stuff. That's the business stuff. We're not interested in that. Maybe you are, to be fair. I'm not a business type of guy, but there's also Osimhen to talk about. We're going to talk about Kane. We're going to talk about... who else are we going to talk about? I've actually forgot. We're going to talk about Rashford, of course. How can you forget Marcus Rashford? The salary, the possible salary, I should say. PSG offered him apparently £400,000 a week, which he turned down. Or just chose to stay at Manchester United. Didn't necessarily turn it down, but yeah, all things to get into. Welcome. Hope everyone is okay. Hope everyone is having a brilliant Tuesday afternoon. Good to see you all again, but we'll get straight into it. As I mentioned, Rob Dawson, initial tweets, the revised bids to buy Manchester United will fall short of the Glazer family's valuation, although there is still time, still hope a buyout can happen. Now, I feel like since I've been behind the scenes producing the shows and listening to Beth, Adam, even Mark express their opinions on this, my opinion is very much similar to kind of those guys, and we're just... the way I kind of see it is we're just going round in circles at this current moment in time. It seems there'll be another round of bids, I'm sure, 100%, in terms of, they're not happy. The Glazers are going to want to get as much money for Manchester United as humanly possible. They've said they value the club at $6 billion, right? I'm sure that if Sheikh Jassim Al-Thani came out and went, here you go, here's $6 billion, the Glazers would go, whoa, actually, we said $7 billion. And I'm sure, they're businessmen, they're slimy slime balls. That's just what, business is like at the elite end. Whether you think they're elite businessmen or not, I mean, they are. They bought the club on debt, they bought the club on, leverage debt, and we don't need to get into all that stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, the information that constantly comes out is that, and I'm actually a little bit, I'm not necessarily hesitant, but I don't want to almost have false hope and think that something is going to happen all the time and then it doesn't. That's with transfers, that's with this sale. They could quite easily, and I wouldn't put it past them. Again, I don't think this is going to happen, and I really hope this doesn't happen, but they could quite easily turn around and say, look, guys, we said we were interested in a sale, but you guys aren't meeting our valuation. Whether you think that's silly or not, you're not. And they will just maybe possibly get investment from this Elliott fund or possible investment elsewhere, which would then obviously lead them to be able to afford to build infrastructure and improve the stadium or build a new stadium, whatever kind of conclusion they come to, they would probably be able to do, and therefore maybe look to keep the club for, 5 to 10 years longer than you thought, and possibly look to sell the club on for even more should Ten Hag lead Manchester United to further success. That isn't what I want to happen. Of course it's not. That's not what 99.99% of people want to happen. They don't want the Glazers anywhere near Manchester United. Completely fair enough. Hello, watching from Kenya. Hello, Alak. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Dylan says, get rid of Weghorst and Martial, bring in Osimhen and Ferguson. All things we're going to discuss about 100%. D says, just sell to Qatar and make a bag. This is the thing, right? I think I saw a quote, and this isn't one of the things that I was going to bring up, but I think I saw something about, they only want to sell if they make a significant amount of money. Something along those lines. And I don't see how what was it? They leveraged the debt. Was it 600 million? It was around that, right? So they're literally like, and forgive me, my maths is not very good. But they're literally making, times 10 or 20 if they're going to sell it for 6 billion, right? The difference between 1 million, just 1 million, and 1 billion is ridiculous. Just how many people don't understand the difference between those two figures. And we're talking about 6 billion here. 6 bills. Absolutely ludicrous. So the fact that they're not interested, or seemingly not interested, for anything less, obviously what Sir Jim, what Qatar, and what this Ziliakis Finnish guy don't want to do is go straight in with the 6 billion when there's a possibility they could get it for 5.5, 5.8, 5.7, whatever, because the difference between 5.5 and 6 is a lot of money. And that money that they don't use, if they were to get it for 5.5, can be used on infrastructure, players, training ground, etc. So, it'd be interesting to obviously get your guys' thoughts and feelings on what you want to happen. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are going to say, but there's also another tweet coming from Rob Dawson that the staff at Manchester United have been told to expect clarity on the ownership situation by the end of the season. So, looking at that on face value, I'm not impressed. By the end of the season, right? And this is the whole thing of the title and thumbnail of this video, the Ten Hag's summer transfer worry. If it happens by the end of the season, what's the end of the season? Obviously, it depends and varies what competitions we're still in, but it is around May, right? That is when the full season will be done. And look, you're actually going to be wanting to plan for summer ASAP. We're talking, you need to be scouting and looking at bringing deals in as early as possible. And look, Manchester United have never been very good at planning for, not never, but, under recent years, 100%, we've not been good at planning for transfers. The Jadon Sancho saga went on for 2 years. The Frankie de Jong saga that will probably still go on into this coming summer. I'm sure there'll be many, many others. And, the Bruno Fernandes saga, it seems that, it picks up a lot of traction. It's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Oh, no, it's not. And then it kind of dwindles away and then comes back and then it dwindles away. It's just one big circus, basically, is what Manchester United is at this moment in time. It's one big circus. But if they're expecting or have been told to expect clarity on the ownership situation by the end of the season, as I say, it doesn't give a lot of time from May until when the season starts in roughly early August. Players have a 2-week break, don't they? I'm sure there'll be some international duty thrown in there at some point. And then, the tours start. We're going to speak a little bit about that as well. Manchester United playing Wrexham in the Snapdragon Stadium. I actually thought that was a bit of a joke, but as in I thought it was a bit a gag that we were playing at Snapdragon Stadium. But sources say it's still business as usual, although there is an acceptance the contract extensions for key players like Marcus Rashford and the summer transfer window will be impacted by whoever is in charge. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory, right? And this came out, I believe last week, I think. Rashford, things were coming out and people were saying that Rashford is going to wait to see who is the owner before making a decision on his contract. I don't blame him for doing that, in all honesty. If he wants to make the most money as well, right? He doesn't want to sell himself short. I guess he understands that if the Glazers are still in charge, they're not going to give him what PSG were offering him at 400-500k a week. I don't think, regardless of who our owners are, we should be giving him that. That's absolutely ludicrous. But there is a guy. Wait, Ryan, just quickly, can we go in the chat? Morgan Menezes, just give him a little mute. He just keeps on spamming 7-0 with laughing faces. Bit annoying. Just keeps doing it. Keeps doing it all the time. I keep seeing it and I keep thinking my chat's just like bugging. But anyway, Marcus Rashford is going to want to make as much money as possible, right? Don't blame him for it. Fair play. So, if Qatar is in charge, or even Sir Jim, whoever it is, and he thinks that he can be promised more money, he's not going to agree a contract now. I believe he has it's not the end of this season, is it? It's the end of next season his contract comes out. So, very, very good. Looking forward to seeing if he can get a contract, what that contract might be. Guys, get your comments in down below as to what you think a contract or Marcus Rashford is worth a week, like worth paying him a week. He's on, I'm going to check now, Marcus Rashford weekly wage. He's going to be, okay, so apparently he's earning about 10.4 million a year. Blimey. So he's on about 200 grand a week, right? Give or take a few pennies. 10.4 million a year, that's only half of what Mark Goldbridge earns, I heard. No, 200k a week. And if he was offered 150k max, you're saying give him a 50, he's losing 50k. Damn, you can't do that after the season he's had. Get this thing out my ear, do my nutting. But yeah, 280k. I personally, I think, and there's ways to go about this. There's certain specific things you can do. Because I saw, and I don't, this is a Man United channel, so I don't want to talk about Arsenal, but I saw that Bukayo Saka was going to sign a deal that could see him earn up to upwards or above 300 grand a week. But the base salary, and this is what Manchester United could look to implement, the base salary, we've got a poll going on as well in the chat if you want to give that a vote. I'm going to vote on that one, see what you guys think. Yeah, if he scores goals, assists, wins stuff, various bonuses, that are used in contracts, you earn more money. But the initial base salary, which you are guaranteed to pay each week, I think it was about to be 200, 180, something like that. Now, could Manchester United do something like that with Marcus Rashford, where the base salary, obviously it needs to improve, right? He's going to be wanting an improvement. He's having a ridiculous season. I'll be interested to know how many goals you think Marcus Rashford, or goal contributions, let's say, Marcus Rashford could end on. Because, look, what he's going to do is he's going to look, and I don't blame him for doing it again, he's going to look at what the likes of players around him are earning in terms of your Sanchos, your Antonys, your Brunos, well, whoever it might be, and go, look, these guys are doing this for this amount of money. I've done this season, and I'm earning less or the same as them. I feel like I deserve more. The loyalty I've shown to this club, I could have left and haven't. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. So, yeah, performance-based, Joy Boys says. So, could we go, we'll give him a 50k a week pay rise, so 250, and then give him the incentives that he could earn up to maybe 350. But that does determine on performance-based things, goals, assists, substitution appearances, etc. There's loads of different incentive based ways that Manchester United can go about it, and it'll be interesting. A lot of you guys, let me have a look in this poll quick. 250 to 300k, 65%. That's the one I went for. Interesting to see that 3% of you think that 400k plus a week for Marcus Rashford would be acceptable. That is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, look, he's an unbelievable, or has been an unbelievable player for us this year. But if PSG come in and they go, this might be because Mbappe is going to leave, right? This might be the thing, and they're paying him £1 million a week. So what's 400k to him? If Mbappe is going to go, they have £1 million a week or €1 million, whatever it is, to play with, and they might want 2 or 3 players who can go into that 1 million. Marcus Rashford might be half of that, might be 400 grand's worth of it. And we shouldn't even bother. If Marcus Rashford goes, I've got this on the table, I've got this offer. PSG have come in and I'm not signing a contract because they've offered me 450 grand a week. If you can't match that, I'm leaving. Now, in all honesty, and this is a sticky situation, Manchester United should just go, well, I'm sorry, but we're not able to do that. We're not able to match that, because I personally don't think that not just Rashford, but any Manchester United player should be warranting £450,000 a week. We're talking hypotheticals here, of course, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same and all that. So if Manchester United, I think 300 max base for that's a heft. 100 grand a week more. Come on, that's ridiculous. Imagine I went to Mark and said, mate, I need my performance this season, this year has been absolutely unbelievable. I'm in dire need of a pay rise because I don't earn enough cash. We're pretending I earn 200 grand a week here. And he goes, yeah, I mean, IQ Insane says 400k a week. Are you kidding me? Sell him. Well, that's the thing as well. You don't, if this one needs to be solved ASAP, is you can then cash in on him, right? You need to be able to sell him on because you can. He is an asset and you want to be able to sell on your assets if they're not going to sign new contracts. But the analogy I was getting to is if I went to Mark and said, look, my performance is this. I've been offered X amount to go here. I want you to match that. If it was a ridiculous amount of money, I'd expect him to turn around and go, you know what? Shove it up your pipe and smoke it, fella. Jog on. And he would, 100%. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him for doing that, and that's exactly what Manchester United should be doing. So the Rashford situation, it's not going to go away. But I did read also the priority at this current moment in time was David De Gea and whether or not we were going to give him a new contract. I think we do want to give him a new contract. It's just finding that middle ground in terms of how much money he's going to be earning as well, because he's on a hefty dollar, and he 350, I think it is, something like that. God, the amount of money these people are on is absolutely insane. But what are you guys saying? We've messed up contracts. He's going to demand more than Sancho 100%. This is it. Charlie, don't forget financial fair play. We cannot overpay players. Exactly, Irvin. We cannot overpay players. And that is exactly another reason why we need to think about selling certain players. Or if he does come to us and go, look, I'm being offered this elsewhere, that Manchester United won't be able to go, okay, we'll match it. The United stand with a comment, good luck, Charlie. Yeah. No, but we have messed up a lot of contracts, haven't we? We have, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame that we have, but we'll talk about a little bit of the wage structure stuff in a minute. We'll cover some of these quotes quick. There are fears at Old Trafford. Oh, this is the interesting bit. This is spicy. There are fears at Old Trafford that new owners might want to make significant changes to the structure at the club, which could jeopardise the next phase of Erik ten Hag's rebuild. Now, this can be taken in various different ways. To me personally, the changes, I mean, look, when new owners come in, it's a big enough change, but I'm sure that when the new owners do come in, whoever they may be, will want to change other areas of the club. They're not going to come in and go, here you go, Ten Hag. I mean, they can't because of financial fair play, and we do need to sell players in order to help out with that. They're not going to be able to go, here you go, is 500 million, go out and do what you want. There will be some strategy, 100%. There will be some strategy that comes with the new owners, whether that is Katasa, Jim, Ziliakis, someone we don't know about through social media. So could it jeopardize? I mean, Erik ten Hag quite clearly in his head has a plan of what he wants to do. So anyone coming in, I guess, could jeopardize certain aspects or certain bits and maybe make it not as smooth as what we've seen so far. Maybe stunt the growth a little bit. Maybe plateau a little bit. I'm not sure, but I think, well, Brian says sell Maguire first. Maguire's definitely one of the names on the sell list, 100%. McTominay, defo. Jim says, I'm 90% Glazers will sell, but I have 10% doubt. Understandable, pal. Understandable, because, it's... You just never know what these guys are going to do. You really don't. You really don't. Rob Dawson does also say, Ten Hag is keen to build on the progress his team have made and would like new signings. Duh, we need new signings. It's not a matter of liking new signings. We need them also, including a top-class striker brought in before the pre-season tour of the United States, which will kick off in July. Now, this relays back to planning. We want a top-class striker in by July. The window... When does the window open? Is it June? I don't even know when the window opens. It must be June, mustn't it? Or is it July? I can't remember. But regardless, if we want a top-class striker, obviously this is what should happen. You buy your players so they can go on tour with the players that they're going to be playing with. They get to know the tactics. They get to know the system. They gel quicker. So when the season hits, you hit the ground running. Exactly the opposite of what we did this season, right? There was word Christian Eriksen's going to join the tour. No, he's not. Frankie de Jong's going to join the tour. We don't end up signing him. Casemiro was late. Antony was late. Malacia, completely left field, so I don't really count it. You know, Malacia, no one thought we were going to sign Malacia. No, not a clue. Fabrizio did it. Here we go for Leon, for him going to Leon, and we hijacked it. Have that, Leon. Stick it. That's the police coming for my dead joke, if you can hear that. But no, I mean, for me, Manchester United are caught between a rock and a hard place at this current moment in time. It's not ideal. I mean, as I say, it could jeopardise Erik ten Hag's rebuild, especially if we're not able to bring in a top-class striker. It's, well, as early as we're wanting. The longer it goes on, you know, we'll dive into this Osimhen Kane debate in a quick second. But if we're not able to get one of them two, or whoever it is we're going after, whether it's Goncalo Ramos, whether it's an Evan Ferguson or Vlahovic, whoever it may be, the longer we wait, the more we're probably going to end up paying, because it doesn't give the other team long enough to bring in a replacement. The longer we wait, the worse off we're going to be in the grand scheme of things, because they need time to adapt to the new playing style. They need time to adapt to new teammates, etc. So, yeah, it's a rubbish situation to be in. Taus says top class striker could be Rasmus Højlund. It could be, but personally, I don't. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put on. You know, arguably we need two strikers anyway, so we need a top class striker. And I have debates over whether we're even going to be able to go out and get an Osimhen or Kane or a Ramos. You know, you're talking as much as, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to any of them. Harry Kane is my favourite. I have no issues expressing that opinion, as much as a lot of people don't want Harry Kane for whatever reason. That's completely fine. You prefer Osimhen or you prefer Vlahovic, whoever it is. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about Harry Kane, because we put out a tweet on the United stand. We put out a tweet saying, you know, Harry Kane to Manchester United, yes or no. Now, I mean, I haven't actually read the replies, but you guys can get involved in this in the comments, because I'll put it towards you. It's up on screen. Harry Kane to Manchester or to MUFC, yes, no. Now, a lot of you are going to say, for whatever reason, you know, you prefer Osimhen, you don't, you know, this, that, the other. Completely fine. You know, you don't think his age is going to work out, whatever it may be. Screw it, I'm here to, I want to know why. I want to know why. Who is this waffling prat? Ken, jog on. See, yes, there are some people, wait. Mumra says no to Kane, get Ferguson. So you'd rather have Evan Ferguson over Harry Kane right now? Wow. I don't know if that's you asking for a nibble. Amir says no, his ankles are bad. Right, I'm proving this myth wrong right now, because I don't know who started it, but he actually, bear with, he actually hasn't had an ankle-related injury in years. How do I get this up? 1 second. Yeah, he hasn't had an ankle-related injury in years. So the injury debate is waffle, and that's the same for Osimhen, because I saw people out there saying that he gets injured a lot, and I think Kane hasn't actually been injured for 2 years. 2 years ago was his last ankle injury, and he missed 6 days, 2 games. Before that, the month before, he had another ankle injury, but missed 2 games again. And then that's it. He didn't have another ankle injury until the 18-19 season. So this whole ankle thing, and that, like, you know, he's got glass ankles is a bit of an odd one. But if you don't want Harry Kane because you don't think you don't want to pay X amount of money, you think Osimhen will be better, that is completely fine. That is 100%. I respect your opinion. You know, but if you're going to come out here, you're going to come in here and you're going to go, Harry Kane is not good enough. Harry Kane is won't score goals. You know, with you know, he's injury prone. All this. Then you're getting shut down. Also, I'm just seeing IQ Insane, no more 30-plus-year-olds, please. I mean, this is not something I agree with either. I mean, look, so Casemiro, come in. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, we need to get rid of Casemiro now. Like, what about if... This is an interesting one because I heard it, I can't remember where I heard it actually, but people were talking about the possibility of Luka Modric. The guy's like 37, 38, like ridiculous, you know, that old for a football player and still playing at the highest level in football week in, week out. Ridiculous footballer. And the discussion was, would you take him at Manchester United for a year? And I think everyone in the chat of the video I was watching was like, yes. So this whole 30-plus thing, I feel like it's used in certain instances. You know, it's one thing for one person and another for another, right? And this whole Josu, Kane has never won a Ballon d'Or. None of our players have ever won a Ballon d'Or. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't get it. I don't get it. Casemiro's okay, but we can't have 6, 7 players above 30 years old. Where are the other players? Who else is over 30? We've got Eriksen. Like, I don't 6 or 7. You're using it as an extreme circumstance when, in reality, like it's not. It doesn't really work like that. We need a younger striker, Charlie. Yeah, see, fair enough. If you have that opinion, you want a younger striker, then, you know, I get it. But this whole, oh, well, just because he's going to be 30 plus, we can't get him. Well, sorry, but we have Casemiro and Eriksen, and everyone loves those guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I guarantee that if Harry Kane was to come into Manchester United, here we go. This is a good one. Rebel Red says 100 million plus for Kane. Pass. Fine. Good opinion, in fact. You're not wanting to pay 100 million for Harry Kane. 100%. That is fine. Because that is, you know, money-based. But again, guys, it's not our money. It ain't our money. I'm not going to lie. It's not our money. Who cares? Who cares? 30-year-old Kane will cost 100 mil plus. Yeah, as I just said, it's you know, it's just the way it is. Oh, please, the only 30-plus players at United are Eriksen, Fred, Casemiro. Well, there you go. One more. Harry Kane is a serial loser. This is an interesting one because I like this. I did actually miss a super chat. Let me go back. I forgot about that. Robert McCormack. Best case with Osimhen is he does what Kane does. Interesting. There was also another super chat from Robert McCormack. If you want the best, you get Kane. Very obvious. Wow, Robert. You're there with me. Brilliant. Charlie, don't force us to want the move. That is, in fact, the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm saying if you have a valid opinion as to why you don't want Harry Kane, then, you know, fair enough. But if you're just going to say he's injury prone, well, he's not. He hasn't been injured in 2 years. His ankles are made of glass. Well, no, because he hasn't had an ankle injury in 2 years. You know, those things don't add up. Oh, well, he's 30 plus. All right, well, let's get rid of Casemiro, Eriksen, you know, some of our best players this year. You can't have one rule for one person and one rule for another. If you prefer Osimhen because you think that he will work out better in the system, or, you know, something a bit more realistic, then fair enough. That, you know, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. A lot of people saying they want Jonathan David. That's another possible and good option. You know, but I think you've got to weigh up. You know, I saw a thingy of Napoli wanting something of 150 million euros for Osimhen. Is he worth that? Not him. Is any player? I don't know. There have been players go for more than that, but is there any player worth that amount of money? Like, you buy a player for 150 million. Like, I honestly think if we bought Osimhen and he was absolutely, you know, he scored 40 goals a season, we won 3 Premier Leagues in a row, and he's on 300 grand a week. I don't even see I do see the resale factor, because obviously he's going to hold his value. But who actually is then going to buy him from us? If that's an argument, or does he just stay at Manchester United and win us everything under the sun, and then that's how you clear the investment? That's obviously fine as well. But you know, I honestly don't think, there's part of me, I don't think we'll get Osimhen or Kane or Goncalo Ramos. Goncalo Ramos release clause is something like 120, 130 million. Harry Kane, if you are looking at 100 million, then I understand the argument of not wanting to spend that much on a player that people think that he might only get 2 to 3 years out of. Again, I disagree with that aspect. And then 150 million for Osimhen, you know, maybe we do need to go out and get maybe an Evan Ferguson and a Højlund. Just get 2 absolute young guys and then hope that, but then you're hoping and praying. I think, and me and Ben Foster actually agree on this, in the fact that Kane, you know, Osimhen, yes, has been absolutely brilliant this season in the Champions League and obviously for Napoli in the Serie A. But there's one thing doing it in another league and then bringing it to the Premier League. I'm not saying he won't be able to do it, but there is that doubt, or there is, you know, but you know Harry Kane can do it 100%. You know that Harry Kane can score 20, 30 goals in the Premier League. And how much is a Premier League title or a Champions League or an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup? Well, you know, how much is it worth to Manchester United at this current moment in time? Because arguably what we are doing at this current moment in time is whoever this striker that we bring in, that is basically, or this window is basically to some degree what we're trying to spend to get us closer to winning more trophies and being more consistent in competitions. So if we are to spend 100 million on Kane and then say we spend another 100 million on whatever other positions, I don't know if we'll get 200 million, by the way, but that 200 million, you know, is what we're using to try and be better in the league next year, compete with Arsenal, compete with City. And I'm sure, you know, Chelsea are probably going to spend more. I'm sure Liverpool will bring in some players as well. It's a difficult situation. 100 mil on Kane is madness. Fair enough. Address the fact that he's a professional bottler or admit irrational bias and move on. A professional bottler, interesting. No, so for me, the whole debate, and I was actually speaking about this earlier, wasn't I? The whole debate on Harry Kane doesn't win anything, you know, he doesn't show up in big games, etc. But there's 9 other outfield players on that pitch for Spurs. I think he is one of the only players to perform in a very underperforming Spurs team. For many years, right? Spurs have underperformed to what probably the fans have wanted and expected. Somehow they're still 4th or 5th in the league, I'm not sure right now. Harry Kane has scored 20 Premier League goals for his 6th season now. There's no irrational bias. I mean, it just is what it is, and I just prefer Harry Kane. So it's, Charlie, you are using bias because Kane is English. Mate, have a day off. It's so Charlie is so biased, he is also to blame. All right, mate, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, look, this whole bias argument is quite funny. I don't really get where it comes from. Like just because he's English, who cares I don't care what nationality you're from. Why does that matter? Why does it matter to me if Harry Kane's English, Italian, Scottish, Welsh, flipping whatever he is? If you're a good player, you're a good player. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Kane is due an injury. Well, I mean, if you're due an injury, then I'm probably due one as well. I haven't been injured in a while. It's not bias. It's fair enough, but there's better options. Yeah, I mean, if you think there's better options, that's fine. I literally, and this is the thing with social media and people on the internet, is you can say, and there's a very good meme, I use it all the time on Twitter, I could go out and I could say to you guys, I love eating pancakes, they're brilliant. And someone will go, what, so you hate waffles? No, man, that is the complete opposite. That is a whole different sentence you have just said there. Just because I like pancakes does not mean I don't like waffles. I might like both. I love Harry Kane and I like Osimhen. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Osimhen or Goncalo Ramos or Vlahovic or Evan Ferguson or Højlund or whoever it may be. I don't really care. As long as they score goals for Manchester United, I don't mind. Harry Kane is just my preference. The same reason that your preference will be whoever it will be. There. Done. Game over. Paul, Charlie Farley, Kane is a great scorer. But 4 or 5 years, then we need to search again. How much will the next striker cost? Nice haircut. Keep up the good work, mate. Cheers, man. Well, this is also the thing. So I think there's an argument, regardless of, and this is whether you bring in Kane, Osimhen, whoever, that we need to probably bring in another younger striker with him, Evan Ferguson, a Højlund, to then, so if we are in 4 or 5 years, if we do need to search again, then we have that up-and-coming striker who's there, and then we can look for another cheaper option. Or if we buy Osimhen and we want to sell him in 4 or 5 years, and we have that option there as well. Whether that happens or not, whether you think that's logical or not, is different. But that's just my opinion. I think we do need 2 strikers. We need, we shouldn't buy Weghorst. I do think some part of me is like, we're going to buy Weghorst as well, which will lead to then only probably going out and buying 1. A lot of you guys aren't going to agree with that. I probably don't agree with that. What happens with Martial as well? There's so much. DK says, don't mind Osimhen or Kane, but we are talking about United. As long as the Glazers are in charge, we will get Weghorst 2.0 on sneak. For 10 million, yeah. I mean, if we get Weghorst, then that's just. I don't know. I don't know. Man United are just a bit odd like that. Manchester United are just odd. We were working on a significantly tight budget, weren't we? Wout is not going anywhere. Haag has got plans for him. Yeah, I mean, look, Weghorst could quite easily be a part of this Manchester United squad, but not play anywhere near the amount of minutes. I think in the Netherlands game that's just been played, I think was it yesterday or the day before, a lot of people were obviously having a bit of banter, saying that he couldn't. What's the saying that Adam says? He couldn't hit a banjo's what is it? Couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo, something like that. Basically, he couldn't score. You could put everything on a plate for him, and he couldn't score. That's just that's just what's going to happen with a Weghorst player. He's not a Manchester United player. He's not probably a. I mean, I reckon he could do a job in the Premier League. I mean, he turned Harry Maguire inside out when he was playing at Burnley, didn't he? So, no. But I mean, look, the Harry Kane debate. It's not even anyone else. It is literally just the Harry Kane debate. Is something that that ruffles some feathers, and I'm not sure why people get so irate about it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure why people hate Harry Kane so much, or why people are against him so much. And a lot of people will go, oh well, he bring up this narrative of being injured all the time and being, which just isn't it genuinely isn't true. So that's just the way it is. Charlie, mate, if you were Evan Ferguson, would you rather develop as a regular starter at Brighton or under a proven talent developer like Erik Ten Hag? Well, McGuinness, a lot of things will play into this. He has come out and said he's a Manchester United fan. He'll watch Danny Welbeck, and now he's playing with him. So, yeah, maybe there's a possibility that an Osimhen and Ferguson, or Kane and Ferguson. I don't know what we're going to do. And it makes me want to tear my hair out. That's why I've got shorter hair now, guys, because I've just been tearing it out because I've been so stressed about this situation. Herb says Kane 30 to 50 million at most. I mean, if you're expecting to get someone that cheap when we've paid, ridiculous amounts, paid 80 million for Harry Maguire, for God's sake. It's silly. He is not old. He is 29. I mean, Charlie Adams' hair is far better, bro. Cheers, Mark. Lovely stuff. Great. Cheers for that chat. Make my day so much better. Charlie with the Lisandro Martinez lid. Is it Lisandro Martinez haircut? Is this a lot of people since I've pointed it out? A lot of people are picking up on it now. I don't think Ferguson is ready for this level just yet, but we should sign him up before Liverpool do. Do you think Liverpool? I don't know. This Evan Ferguson hype came out of nowhere, really, didn't it? All of a sudden, it's gained some traction and some momentum. But We'll round the show off completely on this last tweet, which is coming from The Athletic, which is a little bit about imposing a salary cap. So they say, without imposing a salary cap, Man United want to avoid significant gaps between players in order to maintain a harmonious dressing room. The club sources are hopeful of reaching an agreement that fits into this wage structure. Now, we did have reports, must be a month or two ago now, about a wage structure coming in place, about a players not earning over, was it 200 or 250 grand a week? Now, that is pretty much impossible if Manchester United are going to want to compete at the heights that we used to, right? The best players aren't going to want to come to Manchester United if they're not going to earn the best money. Regardless of what you're winning, there's going to be clubs out there, PSG, Chelsea, Man City, that will pay more and will win titles as well and competitions. So, yeah, I mean, the big thing is kind of getting everyone in there needs to be a structure, right? There needs to be not Brandon Williams on whatever he's on 80 grand a week, because this is also for the reason of selling them. Who's going to want to buy Brandon Williams, whether it's 10 million, 15 million, 5 million, when he's on 80 grand a week? He can just see out his contract and then probably go to a bottom half Premier League table team and go and get another 30, 40, 50 grand a week, because probably maybe even similar wages, because he's going to go on a free as well. These are the things, you know, I hate to say it, but your Jadon Sancho's and David De Gea's on ridiculous amounts of money, and it needs to be like a steady growth. There needs to be, as this says, to avoid significant gaps between players, because one player is going to, you know, Bruno Fernandes, for instance, Rashford is going to look at what they're doing and compare it to what someone else is doing and disagree. And this is where things in the dressing room can heat up. This is where, you know, this is where various stuff can get leaked, various leaks. And I mean, look, we're used to leaks. Kevin with a super chat, 30 plus players are like, I don't know if that's something that can be read out. I don't want to get caught out just in case. So appreciate your super chat nonetheless, my friend. But our wage structure is abysmal. It is abysmal, and that is why we need to improve on it 100%. It needs to be something that Ten Hag, but it is unreasonable, let's say, to assume and think that we're going to be able to sign the best players for, like, you know, 200 grand a week, as much as that isn't a silly amount of money. You know, it is what it is. But I appreciate it. We're going to call it a day there. 2 p.m. show. We've done 40 minutes. Brilliant. Loved it. Yeah, I appreciate everyone for sticking by. My first stream, first show in a very, very long time. This thing, absolutely. I'm telling you, we need new earpieces. Ryan, I'm telling you. Where is he? Can't see him. Hiding. But yeah, appreciate it. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll catch you later on. Mark's back on at 8 p.m, I believe. So catch you then. See you later.